What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning into the Move OTX channel today. Today our trek takes us to Almaden Quicksilver Park, and a lot of people out on the trails today. So a lot of dog walkers out here, and we're gonna hike along the old Almaden Quicksilver Trail area. Along the way we're going to see some old abandoned sites along the way, and this is a very popular trail in the South Bay, deep amongst the oak forest, and I'm going to have to be careful about who I film and who I put on camera. Not everybody wants to be filmed. So I normally start my hikes around noon, and so I kind of miss the early morning joggers and dog walkers. But today I'm getting an earlier start than usual. A lot of private property up here. You want to make sure you stay on the trails. So kind of returning to my youth up here in these hills. So I grew up in this area, and again, I've been living in South San Jose. I've since moved back to South San Jose, and I used to frequent this Quicksilver Park quite often in my younger days. I had a lot of buddies in high school and that were avid outdoors enthusiasts. One guy went on to be a second lieutenant in the Marines. One guy joined as a naval officer, and so a couple of them were Boy Scouts too. So at an early age, a lot of my friends were deep involved in outdoor activities. We parked down at the end of Maccabee Road, and it looks like we're coming up on our first main trail site location. So there's some maps up here. I'm going to grab a map. So I have a soft copy of the map on my phone, but I think we're going to take the trail up here to the right past these bathrooms, and that's how we're going to continue. So my plan is to follow this main fire road and just take kind of a series of right turns and do a loop kind of around, and either do an out and back or do an out and then loop back, a small loop back along the return. So right away, seeing a lot of people out here with trekking poles, hydration packs, layered clothing, outdoor appropriate footwear. So right away we are in our environment. So I'm sorry if my video is kind of chopped up and broken up, but I'm having to turn off my camera quite a bit because the morning hikers are coming back down the trail at me this way. So I clearly don't want to put people on camera if I can avoid it. I don't remember this trail being this wide. This is like a two-lane expressway as far as trail hiking goes. So elevation-wise, this is not a high climb kind of environment, although it does dip up and down throughout the oak forest. So I think we'll be ascending and descending between 400 feet to maybe 800 feet, maybe 850 at the very most. So one of the reasons I want to try this trail is it looked fairly level, but that can be a little misleading. So I'm trying to maintain a 3 mile per hour pace if I can, but I'll probably slow down here and there. Toyon berries throughout all Lower California elevation oak forest trails. Those of you who are new to camping, hiking, backpacking, and being outdoors, generally speaking, anything out here in the wild that's abundant and prevalent and easily accessible is so for a reason. So definitely non-edible, so non-edible. So New Almaden Trail to the left, New Almaden Trail to Guadalupe Trail to the right, and this is the way we're going. So that looks kind of interesting actually, but maybe, you know what, we'll save that for maybe the loop back, maybe. So we'll see. So the crowd is definitely thinning out quite a bit. Mountain lion territory throughout, so be conscious of your surroundings. Stay on trail at all times. So it's a gorgeous early winter hike right now, but these trails can get extremely hot during the summer months. So plan your hike accordingly. Clothe yourself properly, stay adequately hydrated. And looks like we're coming up on some old Quicksilver mine remnants here. El Senator Mine. This mine was opened in 1863 and worked intermittently until March 1926. Very cool. So clearly the rangers don't want you climbing or doing anything stupid over there, so we shall abide by that, and we'll continue up the hill. Alrighty guys, coming up here after a pretty steep incline, climb up, leveling off just a tad. Gotta catch my breath. Practice my Darth Vader trail breathing. Passed up a couple hikers on the way up, so I want to keep them behind me if I can, so that way they're not in my video. So we'll keep going here. Feeling good, and still smiles, not tired, feeling good. Okay guys, sorry about that. I have to keep breaking away, cutting in and out. Normally I like to just have a continual stream, but there's a lot of people coming down on the trails, so, and the trails are mostly straight, relatively straight, so it's not like they're weaving back and forth. Oh yeah, feeling good now. It feels good to get that first climb under your lungs, get your breathing going, get your heart rate, get that blood pumping. Oh hell yeah, look at that view guys. So there is where we parked. That little area down there is a little pocket of Almaden Valley in South San Jose. So there's a golf course, see across there's a patch of green on those hills, the golf course. I live kind of down at the base, down that way. at the base of that golf course area. So we're going to continue here, and I can hear some hikers coming up behind me. Hopefully they're joggers and they're trail runners, so they'll pass me up pretty quick, hopefully. So I'll do another uphill section, and I'll maybe take a break and let them pass me up. Yep, more climbing, more climbing. Up we go, guys. Here's the first section of rock that I've encountered. So those you got to watch out for coming back down. I'll jump out at you almost, and you'll trip. Alrighty guys, so we reached our junction number 3 marker post, and we're going to head up this way toward the reservoir. So I think that's, for the most part, the first climbing section of our hike, and the rest of this way kind of meanders gradually. So we shall see. First time I'm seeing horseshoe prints in the dirt. So these are definitely multi-use trails. Wow, get a load of that view, guys. Welcome to the Almaden Foothill Oak Forests. Oh yeah. Stunning. What a gorgeous day. Don't think I'd want to be out here in the rain, but who knows. I'm sure it would be a challenging hike in the rain and the mud, with rainwater streaming off these trails. I'm not seeing serious signs of erosion here, but you know, rain, it's gonna flow where it goes. Check it out, guys, that's where we're going. There's a zigzag right up through here and down that way. One thing's for sure, this trail is definitely narrowing. It's nowhere near as wide as it was just a few minutes ago. Don't see any deer out here. Not yet anyways. More rocks, watch out for the rocks. Can't tell you how many times I've tripped on little patches of rock just like this, not watching where I'm going. Your toe will catch on something and interrupt your stride cadence. So you got to make sure to pick up your feet cleanly over even the mildest of technical terrain, especially going downhill. Chipmunks chirping and chattering in the background. So clearly they've been maintaining these trails, cutting and trimming back the grasses and some of the overgrowth, kind of minimize the erosional activity. that does a couple things. Number one, it keeps the ticks and the game trails farther off the main footpath. And rattlesnakes, a lot of times they like to sun themselves out on the trail, so it gives them wider area with which to do that and minimize human interaction. So I'm gonna move on over here this way. So a lot of people I've heard, this is kind of funny, I think it was a comedian I think that said this, is he didn't understand hiking and what's the purpose in hiking, why do people enjoy it? And his words were, isn't hiking just like walking but it sucks? And I guess so, if that's how you want to look at it, but there's always something to think about it here. So you're connecting with the environment around you, whether it's oak forest, whether it's redwood, whether there's ticks and grass overgrowing, whether it's poison oak off to the side. Okay, maybe there's a yellow jacket nest, a swarming yellow jacket nest across there, and you want to be careful of that, of course. And if nothing else, you're trying to pick out a line in the trail. So see that section of erosion, water runoff, all the rocks that are exposed, and I'm going to pick a line around that. It's actually a lot like mountain biking. Mountain biking, you're trying to pick out a trail, except everything's coming at you 10 times faster. Whereas when you're hiking, you're a little more connected to the terrain and much less rapid pace. So I think the last time I was out here, I was with some friends and a couple gals that were just in way better trail shape than I. And these are like trail runners and that kind of thing. So they're used to at least a 5 mile per hour pace. So my 3 mile per hour, 3.25 mile per hour pace was just way too slow for them. And I was huffing and puffing trying to keep up with them. So not so today. Today, we're taking it easy. So I have not been out on these trails in 2 decades, at least 2 decades, probably maybe 2.5 decades in the daytime, in the daylight. So I used to come out here and do night hikes with my friends with flashlights and headlamps. That was maybe 20 years ago, but prior to that, in the daylight, like today, that was maybe 25 years ago. So some game trail going off to the side, surely deer, mountain lions, bobcat as well, and get a load of that. So do you guys see that there? Any ideas what that is? So that is a tarantula nest. Anytime you see kind of a silky white fine mesh web with a hole, a funnel conical shaped hole down the middle of it, that is a tarantula nest. And they're waiting for crickets and things at night to crawl out and fall into their nests. There's one there, all up and down this hillside. I'm not sure if it's the tarantula migration season, but if I spot any out here, I'll point it out to y'all. Haven't seen any yet, so this is going to be a climb coming back this other way on the return hike. So I'll probably have to pace myself coming back for sure. But this hike down is pretty easy. Not sure if you can hear it, but Guadalupe Creek is right down that way. And we're kind of straddling right along the side of Hicks Road. And you guys can hear cars going by. But that is Guadalupe Creek down there. It's a Grumman mail truck going by. So we're not too far out of the woods or anything. Can you guys see the creek down there? Hell yeah. Oak forests and freshwater creeks. Oh yeah, that's what we live for here on my channel. A lot of trail hikers coming back down from their morning hikes. So other than that, haven't seen anything really interesting out here. And that's cool. That's how we like it. This is actually a rock paved section of the trail. So they actually groom these trails pretty thoroughly. The smell. I wish I had smell vision here on camera, but I can just smell the fall autumn oak forest. The fall autumn oak forest has a different smell than the summer. A lot of footprints in the dirt. So this is a very, very common hiking path for sure. Alrighty guys, we're making our way. Still traversing up and down these rolling oak forest hills. And I think we're coming up on the reservoir down that way in a little bit. Guadalupe Creek is still down there. So we're just kind of going alongside that for a bit. Still, you can hear cars off in the distance. On Hicks Road, I think that is. Caught a glimpse of a house over there, a roof line up above the trees. So we're not too far off the beaten path. Game trail, another deer track going up that way. And I don't see any actual deer. So not yet, anyway. Anyways, still fairly dry up here. Although you can see patches of green grasses starting to grow from the more recent winter rains that we've had. So that trail hiker that was behind me, she's actually a trail runner. She's long gone by now, so that's cool. I can roll my camera. And the trail, once again, I don't know if you can tell, but the trail is once again widened out pretty significantly. All right, guys, we're making our way up towards the lake. There's the dam going across. Whew. That was the last little hill climb up out of that gorge. Trying to catch my breath. Whew. Just a little bit. Feeling better now. Gorgeous day out here to film. No wind at all. The air is completely still. So you guys are hearing all the field audio unfiltered and unprocessed by my GoPro. Whoa, water level looks really low, which I guess that's to be expected. Late summer, early winter. Oh yeah, this I remember. I remember being out here at night, probably around midnight, with their flashlights, beaming them across the lake. Oh yeah. All right, guys, let me just use this concrete part of the dam here to show on the map exactly where we are. So obviously we're not too far into our hike. We started up here at the end of Maccabee, came down around Guadalupe Trail, and we're now here right at the northern tip of Guadalupe Reservoir, right up here. And I think we'll take it all the way down here, kind of along the lake, along the reservoir, and go around this area here. So, and we'll maybe do a loop back, going up the other way as well. Alrighty, guys, so we're gonna follow this main fire road trail up this way along this fence line, and we're just going to continue to hike kind of around the southern end of this lake here, the reservoir, and take that around. Loving it out here. These oak forest tree canopies, it's like hiking in a tunnel. So cool, so cool. Natural air conditioning. And a while back there I said how still the air is back in those dips and peaks. So now that we're kind of reaching an, I don't want to say an elevational plateau, but now that the elevation gains have minimized, it's a little breezier right now. Not sure if you can tell that from my microphone, but that's how I'm feeling out here for sure, which is nice. It's probably, for the record, this is probably the widest trail I've ever hiked. Easily. It's easily 3 or 4 times wider than the trails I'm used to up near the Palo Alto foothills area and Los Altos oak forest hills. You could probably Google map this trail and see it pretty high up. Oh, check out those turkey vultures. Way cool. Can you guys see them? Hope my camera does them justice. Whole bunch of them lined up on the fence posts. I wonder if there's a dead deer or a dead snake or something down there around that area. Got one of them keeping a watch on me over there on the end, stretching out their wings. So don't worry guys, if you see those out in the wild, they only eat and consume dead animal. So as long as you're alive and kicking, they won't threaten you. But the only time I see them in large volumes like that is if there's an animal kill nearby. So this is mountain lion territory, like any lower elevation California, or maybe even some higher elevations, but certainly here in the lower elevations, it is active mountain lion territory. And they hunt deer and small rodents. And I think, don't quote this about mountain lions, but the mountain lion, I know it when it kills a deer, for example, or a large animal, they separate out the digestive tract and the stomach from the organ cavity, and then they consume the liver and the lungs and the heart kind of separately. So when a mountain lion makes a kill, there's usually a lot of dead animal carcass left behind and a lot of dead remnant flesh left behind that those guys, the turkey vultures, oh, here you go. So that is mountain lion scat right there, fairly fresh. Okay, looks like we're coming up on a trail junction, and let's bust out the map and see where we're at. Alrighty guys, so we are at trail junction number 8, and we're gonna head this way down Mine Hill Trail, and we'll just follow that, keep going. This loop is kind of a shortcut back up this way, kind of cutting across the windy oak forest ups and downs I took. So I'm going to take this trek on back later on the hike back, on the return hike. But for now, we're going to head up this way and keep going. There's an interesting little dead end up here on the trail. I'm not sure if I'll make it that far, but that's going to be our goal here today. We'll take it as far as we can though. So far I'm feeling great. Not tired. My legs aren't cramping. my feet feel good, no blisters or anything like that. So got my trusty high-tech fall boots on. These aren't full weather boots, but these are my kind of my spring and early spring and late fall boots. I don't really like hiking in boots. I actually prefer trail runners, low top trail runners. But lately I've been wearing these boots because they do a better job keeping the rocks and the dirt and stuff out of my socks. For whatever reason, I guess just because they're high tops. But I don't have ankle issues, so they're actually a little restrictive for my ankles and my feet. But that's all right. Here's some more mountain lion scat. So after it decomposes and breaks down, it breaks down into the fur, rodent and animal fur. So that's how you know it's mountain lion. Smaller ones would be bobcat, but that one's pretty big. So that's a mountain lion. Alrighty guys, another glorious view down into Guadalupe Reservoir, and just off in the distance there you can see the summit of Mount Almaden. So actually, if you keep going and taking these trails, keep going, it takes you all the way down to the main parking lot to hike up to Mount Almaden. So I've taken you guys up there before on my channel. It's been a while actually. A few years ago actually, so yeah, we'll have to go back and do that hike again sometime soon. But for now, we're enjoying the rolling oak forest hills of Almaden Quicksilver Park. A lot of rest stops and benches along the way. Don't remember seeing those last time I was here. So no mountain biking. We do not mountain bike up here. Some trails clearly do not allow it. Okay, this is Junction 9, Randall Trail, going that way to Prospect Trail. So we're still making our way kind of around the other side of Guadalupe Reservoir. And this is our first sign of fall color splash. This maple here. So we're at Junction 10, and we're going to take this Providencia Trail to Enriqueta Trail that way. It seems a little less traveled. Definitely not seeing any mountain bike trails. So this is probably just a footpath hiking trail only, be my guess. But we'll see. We shall see. There's the view back down into Guadalupe Reservoir. Pretty cool. And there is Mount Almaden. Oh yeah. more toyon berries all up and down these trails. So once again, the trail is narrowing just a little bit compared to what it was earlier. Okay, and we are at Enriqueta Trail. Trail ends, no outlet. Okay, what the heck, we'll take this way. Yeah, we'll try that. Alrighty guys, we're making our way down Enriqueta Trail. I apologize if my Spanish is not authentic. Right away I'm seeing the signs that this trail is nowhere near as well traveled as the other ones. For one, I can't see as many footprints in the earth. Number two, there's a lot of green plant life growing throughout the trail. So there are some footprints here though, so clearly some people do take this. But nowhere near as many as the trails behind us. There's some deer tracks, finally. Finally some deer tracks in the dirt, which is to be expected. Deer don't usually traverse down the main trails. Still seeing more deer tracks down here. And it kind of comes to an end down here. Some game trails going off that way. But yeah, if the deer are making their way down here to the water, to this little pond to drink, then that explains all the deer tracks. So one thing you got to be careful of is when you're out in areas with fresh water and a lot of deer tracks, you are definitely in mountain lion territory. So I don't want to put the scare into everybody, but that's the reality of being out here. So there's another trail that wanders off this way, so it leads off to that grass field. But that's pretty much this here, so we'll make our way back up this way. Alrighty guys, check out that view looking across the area to Mount Umunum. So we're continuing our hike up Providencia Trail, and it's actually not that far distance-wise, like 0.6 miles, but it's kind of a zigzag uphill climb. So a lot of times on these hikes, it's not the distance that gets you, it's the climbing and the elevation change. Speaking of which, here we go. More climbing. Alrighty guys, so we just hiked up Provincia Trail and we're coming up here to marker number 11. I believe it's 11. Yeah, junction 11. So we're back on Mine Hill Trail, and already I'm seeing hikers and trail runners come across this way. So I've been here for about 10 or 15 minutes just chilling and relaxing and taking in the scenery, the view from Mount Almaden getting closer as we go farther this way into the park. So we're going to turn around here and we're going to head back down this way. So one thing for sure, I saw some hikers kind of slowly make their way back up this way, so didn't seem like they were terribly exhausted or anything like that. So starting to get kind of hungry actually, so maybe I'll pull over and power down some trail mix. Still feeling great, not too tired. Wow, I'm not sure if you guys can see that or if my camera does it justice, but there's a great view of South San Jose, kind of that area. So Cupertino is that way. There's a little bald patch on the hill. I think that is a concrete mining, I guess, concrete mining facility. I don't know, do they mine concrete? I don't know, what the hell. Someone out there in YouTube land, comment down below. Do you mine for concrete? I don't know. But I know that was making a lot of news headlines maybe 10 years ago or so, at least, maybe 20. About the environmentalists trying to preserve the hills and that kind of thing. So at any rate, that is Cupertino. Actually, Cupertino and Rancho San Antonio is that way. So I've taken you guys up on those hills before. And we're getting a gorgeous view of downtown San Jose, or South San Jose. Coming over the crest of this hill here. And our friends, the turkey vultures, always circling overhead. Awesome. No guys, I'm not dead yet. Don't eat me. Gotta watch my step. So here's some more of those downhill rock formations, rock fields that litter the trails. So I got to pick out my line carefully. So I think this is mostly downhill. So all that climbing I did just a few minutes back is now, I'm going to undo that. A lot of mountain lion scat out here, everywhere up here, for sure. Alrighty guys, we're coming down, making our way. Get a load of that view. It's downtown San Jose right there. And the lake, reservoir, is right down there. And we're just kind of making our way down these oak forest hills. Most of this is downhill at this point. Alrighty guys, so we came down this way and we're now at junction marker 10. So here's the other end of Providencia Trail right here. So that's the trail we hiked up coming up here. So here's the other end of it. And we're going to go this way, continue down Mine Hill Trail. Alrighty guys, so we're going to continue. We are now at junction number 8. So that's the way we came in, or up, so to speak, and our return path. We want to go this way, up this hill. So it's a little bit of a hill climb, and there's our friends. Turkey vultures circling out overhead. Oh yeah. Our friends the turkey vultures. Looking for something to chow down on, I'm sure. Not me, fellas, not me. Alrighty, here we are. Trail Junction 7. Cinnabar Trail. We're gonna go down this way. No horses, so hikers only. I would imagine it's probably a little less crowded, maybe. And we're going to go down this way and hang a left onto New Almaden Trail. So this is a really short trail segment right here, and it should join up with the other one very soon. This actually looks like a relatively newly formed section of trail. You can tell by the dirt piling and the dirt debris over there on the sides. Either that or they fresh cleared it. That would be my guess too. So it certainly doesn't look very old. All downhill this whole time, which is nice. Alrighty guys, that was Cinnabar Trail, and this coming up here looks like New Almaden Trail. I wonder where that goes. Cinnabar Trail and New Almaden Trail to Webb Canyon Park entrance. Oh, okay. There's the answer to my question. So that goes to one of the park entrances. But the way we want to go is that way. Alrighty guys, so we're going to head down this way on New Almaden Trail. So this is hiking traffic only. So no horses, no mountain bikes. So I'm expecting this mostly to be single track through the oak forest. Oh yeah, this is actually what I'm familiar with. More so than fire roads. Back once again in the oak forest tunnel tree canopy. This is like Foothills Park, guys. Just like Palo Alto. Little chipmunks too. That's the second one I've seen. Got to watch my step, make sure I'm on solid footing. Unlike the fire road, got to watch where I'm going. Alrighty guys, I guess we're about at the halfway point. Kind of going up and down, rolling through these hills and in and out of the oak forest tree canopy. Haven't seen any other hikers coming up this way. I'm not sure why. This is a great trail so far, knock on wood. Knock on wood. So I'm definitely on an overall downhill descent. That's for sure. But still, it's kind of rolling, like a rolling downhill. It's not a steep or a consistent one. That's for sure. I can just tell by my breathing and how short of breath I am not. So one thing I'm being careful of, are bees and yellow jacket, hornet nests overhead and in the ground. Always got your ears peeled, listening for that characteristic buzz and hum overhead. The ones on the ground are harder, you can't hear them, but you'll know it when you're in the vicinity of one. So that and tall grasses with ticks on them are probably my biggest threat when I'm out here. And I'm keeping an eye out for both. So the other thing I'm careful of too is because this is an overall descent vertically downward, trying to make sure I maintain about a 3 mile per hour pace, cadence with my long strides. So that can be a treacherous situation. If I go too fast, before I know it, I'm pushing 4 miles per hour. Technically 5 miles per hour for me is a slow jog. So if I start pushing 3 3/4 miles per hour cadence, I got to make sure I mentally slow myself down. Because A, I'm not in a hurry, but B, if there's a rocky patch or the footing is unstable, the faster you go, the harder you fall. So that's one thing that working out and exercising on a treadmill will teach you, is how to train your mind for your natural stride, cadence, and rhythm. So for me, a natural cadence is a little over 3 miles per hour. And really where that comes into play is on a map, you see the mile markings. So you know if you have to go from milepost marker 10 to milepost marker 11, and it's 1 mile, so I should get there in about 20 minutes with my 3 mile per hour pace. So it's kind of a way to have a built-in analog GPS system in your mind without actually having one. So we're still climbing in parts here, so don't get me wrong, there's still some uphill and downhill here. So right now all I'm hearing are the chirps of squirrels off in the distance. Every now and then a crow will cry out. But that's pretty much it. Alrighty guys, we're coming up on the end of New Almaden Trail, and this up here should be Mine Hill Trail. Alrighty, we're gonna make our way back down this way, and just does a little bit of a loop around, and it should bring us right back into the main park entrance that we came in on. Alrighty, making our way, still feeling great. Took a little break back there to chow down on some trail mix and finished most of my water. I still got a little bit left. So one thing about when you're out on the trails and when you're outdoors in general, you don't ever want to feel hungry. By the time you feel hungry, it's too late. Or you don't want to feel thirsty. By the time you feel thirsty, it's too late. So your food, whatever food you pack and whatever water you pack, it doesn't do any good at all in your pack. The only way it actually does any good is when it's in your stomach. I know that sounds obvious, but when you're out here on the trails, you may not feel thirsty or you may not feel hungry. But your energy level starts to drop. Maybe you start feeling a little light, a little faint, lightheaded. Alrighty, we're making our way, guys. So earlier I said that segment of trail was the widest fire road I'd ever hiked on. No, this one is. This one's even wider. I mean, this is basically a 2-3 lane dirt road. Seeing a lot of hikers come up this way for sure. So I know I'm getting closer now to the main park entrance. That's for sure. Alrighty guys, looks like we're coming up on the main trail entrance right up in here by the bathrooms. And yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, okay? So once again, everybody, thanks again for joining me here on our trek through Almaden Quicksilver Park. And I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. Please feel free to post comments and questions down below. And as always, everyone, stay safe out there, enjoy the outdoors, and I'll catch you all later on the next one.